My ex came crawling back when she found out I won the lottery. Love hearing wild Reddit stories. Subscribe for fresh tales every week. I never thought winning the lottery would bring my ex crawling back into my life. But there she was, standing on my doorstep, looking as beautiful and manipulative as the day she left me. It all started 6 months ago when I won $20 million in the Powerball. At first, I thought it was a joke. I'd never been lucky a day in my life, and yet there I was, holding the winning ticket. I quit my job, bought a new house, and started living the kind of life I'd only ever dreamed of. But I should have known it wouldn't be that simple, because when you come into money, everyone wants a piece of it, even the people who walked out of your life years ago. My ex, Vanessa, and I had been together for 5 years. We met in college, and for a while it felt like we were unstoppable. But over time, things started to fall apart. Vanessa was ambitious, always chasing the next big thing, and I was just trying to keep up. The final straw came when she landed a high-paying job in another city. She didn't even ask me to come with her. She just packed her bags and left. "I need to focus on my career," she said, her voice cold. "I can't do that with you holding me back." Her words cut deeper than any knife, but I didn't fight her. I let her go, and for the next 2 years, I tried to move on. Winning the lottery was supposed to be my fresh start. I paid off my debts, bought a house on the beach, and even started a charity to help underprivileged kids. For the first time in years, I felt like I was in control of my life. But then Vanessa showed up. I was sitting on my porch enjoying the sunset when I heard a familiar voice. "Hey, stranger." I turned around and there she was, Vanessa. She was wearing a tight red dress and a smile that could melt ice. "Vanessa?" I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "What are you doing here?" She stepped closer, her heels clicking against the pavement. "I heard about your big win. I just wanted to come by and congratulate you." I frowned. "You drove all the way here just to say congratulations?" She shrugged, her smile never wavering. "Well, that and I missed you." I felt a pang of anger. "You missed me? You walked out on me, Vanessa. You didn't even say goodbye." Her smile faltered, and for a moment she looked genuinely hurt. "I know, and I've regretted it every day since. I was young and stupid, and I made a mistake. But I'm here now, and I want to make things right." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But I couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't here for me. She was here for the money. Against my better judgment, I agreed to have dinner with her. We went to a fancy restaurant downtown, and for a while it felt like old times. Vanessa was charming, funny, and as beautiful as ever. But as the night went on, I started to notice little things. The way she kept bringing up my lottery win, the way she asked about my new house, the way she hinted at how much she'd always wanted to live by the beach. By the time dessert arrived, I knew what she was after. "So," she said, leaning across the table, "what are you going to do with all that money?" I shrugged, trying to play it cool. "I don't know. Travel, maybe. Buy a boat. Why?" She smiled, her eyes sparkling. "I was thinking, maybe we could do something together. Like old times." I felt a surge of anger. "You mean like when you walked out on me?" Her smile faltered, and she reached across the table to take my hand. "I told you I made a mistake, but I'm here now, and I want to make things right. We could be amazing together, you know that." I pulled my hand away, my jaw tightening. "I don't know, Vanessa. I think I'm better off on my own." Vanessa didn't take rejection well. She stormed out of the restaurant, leaving me with the bill and a sinking feeling in my stomach. But I knew I'd made the right decision. Vanessa wasn't here for me. She was here for the money, and no amount of charm or beauty could change that. Vanessa's sudden reappearance in my life was like a storm I hadn't seen coming. She left the restaurant that night in a huff, but I knew it wasn't the end of it. Vanessa wasn't the type to give up easily, especially when there was money involved. What I didn't expect was just how far she'd go to try and worm her way back into my life, or how her desperation would lead me to someone who actually deserved my time and attention. The next morning, my phone buzzed nonstop. Vanessa had clearly decided that if she couldn't win me over in person, she'd try to do it through text. "Vanessa, I'm sorry about last night. I didn't mean to get so emotional. Can we talk?" "Vanessa, I miss you. I really do. I made a mistake, and I want to make it right." "Vanessa, you don't have to do this alone. Let me be there for you." I rolled my eyes and muted her notifications. I wasn't falling for it. Vanessa had her chance, and she blew it. I wasn't about to let her back in just because I had a few $1 million in the bank. A few weeks later, I met someone new. Her name was Claire, and she was everything Vanessa wasn't. Kind, genuine, and completely uninterested in my money. We met at a charity event I was hosting for my foundation. She was one of the volunteers, and we hit it off immediately. She had this warmth about her, this effortless way of making people feel at ease. And the best part? She had no idea who I was or how much money I had. "So what do you do?" she asked during our first conversation. "I run a foundation for underprivileged kids," I said, leaving out the part about the lottery. Her eyes lit up. "That's amazing. I've always wanted to work with kids. Maybe I could volunteer sometime. I smiled, feeling a connection I hadn't felt in years. I'd like that. As Claire and I started spending more time together, Vanessa's texts became more frequent and more desperate. Vanessa, I saw you with her. Is that why you're ignoring me? Vanessa, she's not right for you. You know that, right? Vanessa, I'm the one who knows you best. Don't throw us away for some random girl. I didn't respond, but I did decide to have a little fun. One weekend, Claire and I went to a high-profile charity gala. I made sure to post a few pictures on social media. Claire in a stunning red dress, me in a tailored suit, the two of us laughing and looking happier than I'd ever been with Vanessa. The comments rolled in almost immediately. Friend 1, who's the gorgeous woman? Friend 2, you two look amazing together. And then, of course, there was Vanessa. Vanessa, cute, but you know she's only with you for the money, right? I smirked and typed out a reply. Me. Actually, she didn't even know I won the lottery until last week, but thanks for your concern. I could practically feel Vanessa's rage through the screen. A few days later, Vanessa showed up at my house again. This time, she wasn't smiling. What do you want, Vanessa? I asked, standing in the doorway. I want to talk, she said, her voice tight. You can't just replace me with some random girl. I crossed my arms. First of all, Claire's not a random girl. She's amazing. And second, you're the one who walked out on me, remember? You don't get to waltz back in and act like you still have a claim on me. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. I made a mistake, okay? I was young and stupid, and I didn't realize what I had until it was gone. But I'm here now, and I'm willing to fight for us. I shook my head. There is no us, Vanessa. Not anymore. I've moved on, and you should too. She stared at me for a long moment, then turned and walked away. I watched her go, feeling a strange mix of sadness and relief. Claire and I continued to grow closer, and for the first time in years, I felt like I was in a healthy, loving relationship. She didn't care about my money. She cared about me, and that made all the difference. As for Vanessa, I heard through mutual friends that she'd moved to another city. I didn't know if it was true, and I didn't care. She was a part of my past, and I was finally ready to focus on my future. Vanessa's disappearance after our last confrontation was short-lived. I should have known she wasn't the type to walk away quietly. She had always been relentless, and now that she felt like she was losing control, she became even more determined to claw her way back into my life. But this time, I was ready, and so was Claire. Vanessa's next move was subtle but calculated. She started posting throwback photos of us on her social media, pictures from our college days, vacations we'd taken together, even candid shots of us laughing at parties. The captions were always the same. Miss these days, Nagskr TBT, itty what could have been. At first I ignored it, but then Claire noticed. Who's Vanessa? She asked one evening, scrolling through her phone. I sighed. My ex. Let's just say she's not handling the breakup well. Claire raised an eyebrow. The breakup from 2 years ago? Yeah, she came back when she found out I won the lottery and now she's trying to make me jealous or something. Claire laughed. That's pathetic. Want me to handle it? I grinned. What did you have in mind? Claire's plan was simple but brilliant. She started posting pictures of us together, not just the usual couple selfies, but photos that showcased the life I was building without Vanessa. There was one of us on my new yacht, another of us at a charity event where I donated a large sum, and even a candid shot of us cooking dinner in my beach house. The captions were always lighthearted and fun, but the message was clear. I've moved on and I'm happier than ever. Vanessa's response was immediate. Vanessa, you're really going to flaunt your new life in my face? Me. I'm just living my life, Vanessa. You should try it sometime. She didn't reply, but I could feel her seething through the screen. A few days later, Vanessa showed up at my house again. This time, she wasn't alone. She'd brought her best friend, Lisa, presumably for moral support. We need to talk, Vanessa said, her voice trembling with barely contained anger. I crossed my arms. We've talked, Vanessa, multiple times. What more do you want? I want you to stop rubbing your new life in my face, she snapped. It's cruel, and it's unnecessary. I raised an eyebrow. You're the one posting throwback photos of us like we're still together. If anyone's being cruel and unnecessary, it's you. Vanessa's face turned red. You don't understand. I made a mistake, okay? I shouldn't have left you, but I'm here now, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right. I shook my head. It's too late, Vanessa. I've moved on, and honestly, I'm happier than I've ever been. She stared at me, tears streaming down her face. You're really going to throw away everything we had for some random girl? Claire's not a random girl, I said, my voice firm. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And unlike you, she actually cares about me, not my money. Vanessa opened her mouth to argue, but Lisa cut her off. Let's go, Vanessa, she said. pulling her friend toward the car. He's not worth it. I watched them drive away, feeling a strange mix of relief and satisfaction. Vanessa was finally out of my life for good. With Vanessa gone, Claire and I were free to focus on our relationship. We traveled, volunteered, and built a life together that was everything I'd ever wanted. And the best part? It was real. As for Vanessa, I heard through mutual friends that she'd moved to another state. I didn't know if it was true, and I didn't care. She was a part of my past, and I was finally ready to focus on my future. Vanessa's departure marked the end of a chaotic chapter in my life, but it also signaled the beginning of something far greater. With Claire by my side, I finally felt like I was living the life I was meant to live, one filled with love, purpose, and genuine happiness. And while Vanessa's attempts to worm her way back into my life had been exhausting, they'd also taught me an important lesson. Not everyone deserves a second chance. Vanessa's final attempt to win me over had been her most desperate and her most embarrassing. After showing up at my house with her friend Lisa, she'd apparently realized that her efforts were futile. She stopped texting me, stopped posting throwback photos, and even unfollowed me on social media. It was as if she'd finally accepted that I was no longer an option. I didn't hear from her again, but I did hear about her. According to mutual friends, she'd moved to another state and was trying to start over. Part of me hoped she'd find happiness, but another part of me knew that Vanessa's problems ran deeper than just losing me. She'd always been chasing something: success, money, validation, and until she figured out what she really wanted, she'd never be truly happy. With Vanessa out of the picture, Claire and I were free to focus on building a life together. We traveled to places I'd only ever dreamed of visiting: Paris, Tokyo, the Maldives. We volunteered with my foundation, helping underprivileged kids and making a real difference in their lives. And we spent countless nights just talking, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. Claire was everything Vanessa wasn't: kind, genuine, and completely uninterested in my money. She loved me for me, and that made all the difference. A few months after Vanessa's final attempt to win me back, Claire and I attended a high-profile charity gala. It was the kind of event Vanessa would have loved: celebrities, influencers, and wealthy donors all gathered in one place. And of course, I made sure to post a few pictures on social media. One photo in particular went viral. It was a candid shot of Claire and me dancing, her head resting on my shoulder as we smiled at each other. The caption was simple: "When you find someone who loves you for you, everything else just falls into place." The comments were overwhelmingly positive, but one stood out. Vanessa: "Cute, but you'll always wonder what could have been." I smirked and typed out a reply. Me: "I don't wonder at all. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be." She didn't respond, and I didn't expect her to. Vanessa was a part of my past, and I was finally ready to leave her there. A year after we started dating, I proposed to Claire. It wasn't some grandiose, over-the-top gesture, just a quiet moment on the beach at sunset, with the waves crashing in the background and the sky painted in shades of pink and orange. "Claire," I said, dropping to one knee, "you've made me happier than I ever thought possible. Will you marry me?" She didn't even hesitate. "Yes." As I slipped the ring on her finger, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. This was it. This was the life I was meant to live. Claire and I got married 6 months later in a small, intimate ceremony on the beach. It was perfect, just the two of us surrounded by the people who mattered most. As for Vanessa, I heard through mutual friends that she'd moved on too. She was dating someone new, someone who apparently had a lot of money. I didn't know if it was true, and I didn't care. Vanessa was no longer a part of my life, and I was finally free to focus on my future. Thanks for listening. More amazing stories coming soon. Subscribe so you don't miss out.